Or Keon still listing is questionable for tonight, and there's no way he should play. No reason at all he should play. I'm glad he traveled with the team, of course, as they have bigger fish to fry against the Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks, Denver Nuggets, but he's got no business playing in this game against the Jazz, where nobody is really playing for the Jazz. Even if they were playing, the Jazz obviously stink. But on top of the Jazz not being very good, they're also very, very injured. And everybody's favorite King that never was, John Collins, he's not playing. Lauri Markkanen is not playing. And there's just no reason why. I'm looking at this game, and I don't even think anybody should play in the fourth. We might actually do unders for prop talk, or I'm looking at Jake LaRavia and or Markelle Fultz if he's available. Okay, because I don't. There's no reason the Kings. You got to take this game, especially to start out a tough road trip. You have to take this game and step on them early. Don't let off the gas and just keep cooking. You have John Collins, who's out. Lauri Markkanen's out. Elijah Harkless out. I don't even know who that is. Taylor Hendricks is out. Colin Sexton is out. And, I thank you, Kyle. Kyle said he's a two-way player. I don't care. Oscar Tshiebwe, also a G League player. He's out.
Hey, college player of the year.
There you go. So take care of business. Nobody should play in the fourth. I would take an under. I would take Domas under. If they are playing, if the starters finish this game, that is a bad sign. They have no business finishing this game. None at all. This should be get Markelle Fultz more in the fold, get Jake LaRavia to actually make a shot. That's what I'm looking for in today's game. Just take care of business. The same way you did against the Hornets, but even sooner. Do it even somehow you have found a way to face a team that, based on injury, is worse than the Charlotte Hornets, who just set an NBA record for 3 games in a row, how big their losses were. You somehow found a way to find a worse team than that. So take the blessing, okay, for what it is. Take advantage of it. Take care of business and get on to the next stop. Get on to Texas.
Want to hear the starting lineup potentially for tonight?
Let's hear it.
We have at point guard, Isaiah Collier.
Okay.
Rookie.
Shooting
guard, Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm.
Forward, Johnny Juzang.
Okay.
Other forward.
It's a name drop.
Yeah. Other forward, Kenyon Martin's son.
Great.
And at center, if Walker Kessler is available, probably Walker Kessler.
Right.
Otherwise, Kyle Filipowski.
Oh, man.
Oh, what do we do with that?
Yeah, the stories on him. Go ahead and Google that during a break.
Well, you might not even find it on Google.
Yeah.
So.
Look
up Kyle Filipowski girlfriend.
That is quite the lineup. That is quite the lineup. And Amid Rock he's doing it. I get it. Don't sleep on these guys. You know the Jazz young G League players are going to try and make a statement. That they are so bad. There's no statement to make.
Even in that comment that was disrespectful, because it's like even the Jazz G Leaguers will try. No, these are NBA players.
Right. These are actually
these
NBA
are first
players.
Round picks.
Right. They're just very young, and I am sleeping on them.
And Jordan Clarkson.
I am.
Jordan Clarkson must just love being in Utah because he's like signed a contract extension, refuses to get traded anywhere. He must just love Utah.
So that's what you have with the Utah Jazz, and they're just very bad. 23rd in net rating with their starter, or I guess with whenever they have starters. And I looked at their last game against the Blazers. Even in that game, no Markkanen, no John Collins. So these are just teams that are waiting for the season to be over. And the Kings don't have many games against teams like this for the rest of the season. These are just teams that are just waiting for the season to end. So just help put them out of their misery. So once the Kings move on from the Jazz, like I said, 23rd in net rating, 22nd in offensive rating, 24th in defensive rating. After that, things get a lot tougher. And that might be the toughest part about playing a team. Your two last teams being the Charlotte Hornets and the Utah Jazz. You got to make sure that you realize that there are levels to this, because the Rockets will come out and punch you in the mouth. And the last couple of times the Kings have played the Rockets, it's been pretty contentious. And a lot of that is because that's how the Rockets get down. But there have been some things that have happened as well, ejections and things of that nature. So you go from playing the terrible Hornets to the awful Utah Jazz to the Rockets. You're on high alert there to not get punched in the mouth, because that's what they're going to try to do. 15th in net rating, 15th in offensive rating, 13th in defensive rating. They have been struggling, but they got a huge win last night against the Milwaukee Bucks, where Giannis and Dame did play, as well as Kyle Kuzma, that new Frankenstein big three that they cooked up out there. So that's what's going on after you face the Utah Jazz. Then you get the Dallas Mavericks, and y'all know how I feel about the Dallas Mavericks. They just compete, right? I know they got blown out against the Warriors over the weekend, but they had no business being in that game against the Lakers, where you have everything going the Lakers' way. You're starting Kessler Edwards at center, and PJ Washington put up a donut. In 35 minutes, he put up a donut, and you took the Lakers to the last 2 minutes of the game where they finally pulled away. So that is the game that everyone's going to say, oh, it's the Mavericks. No Anthony Davis, no center. You got to win that game. In Dallas, we saw that team, and that team was just that team that the Kings beat, to be honest, was more discombobulated because the trade was more recent. They're actually starting to get used to playing without their centers. They're actually used to it at this point. So I wouldn't sleep on that Mavericks game at all. And then after that, tell them what they won, Johnny. And again, they're 19th in net rating, 16th offensive rating, 23rd in defensive rating. And after that, tell them what they won, Johnny. The Denver Nuggets, okay, in Denver, who are 3rd in net rating, 2nd in offensive rating, and 16th in defensive rating. So their defense is middle of the road, but their offense is second in the league as far as offensive rating, and Jokic has been destroying. That's a game, not to get too far ahead. I understand nobody could stop Jokic, but and I know he's not necessarily known as a defensive savant, but I would like to see a good amount of Jonas Valanciunas in that game just for a different look. Is it going to make a difference? I do not know. But what we do know is that Jokic was eating last game. I think that, you know, some of these lineups, I'm sure Jokic is used to seeing doubles, but watching that Laker game against the Nuggets, they threw kind of lazy doubles at Jokic from time to time, and then they would upgrade it and, you know, really blitz him at times. So there was always more than one guy around him. And if you're going to let Brown beat you, or Aaron Gordon beat you, who Aaron Gordon did beat the Kings the first time they faced them, you just have to live with it, and you live with the results. But Jamal Murray, let's not forget that crazy comeback that they had after the Kings' crazy comeback. And then that second game, the Nuggets just kind of beating the brakes off the Kings. I think you have to bring hybrid doubles at Jokic all day long and just say, hey, if Julian Strother is going to beat us, then it is what it is. So that's the next 4 games that the Kings have coming up. Obviously, the easiest thing to say is they go 2-2. I hope that is what they do, but honestly, a lot of people are excited about, and, you know, I'm not trying to get too negative here, but a lot of people are excited about what we saw from the Kings. They're going to beat a bad Jazz team tonight, and they still will have not beat a good team under the interim beam team. Now, they haven't played a good team, really, besides the Warriors, and that didn't go well. But you're going to get this Jazz game, and honestly, folks, I'm actually hoping. I know this is going to be tough because March is just a mess in itself, but I'm actually hoping for 2-2. I'm actually really worried about 1-3.
Well, let me frame it in a different way than what we've been saying. In the interim beam team era, they will have gone, doing the quick math, 5-2, playing Dallas, New Orleans, Golden State, Charlotte, and Utah. Obviously, Dallas had injuries also.
Right.
They will have gone 5-2 and gained no ground in the Western Conference.
Yes.
They will be in the exact same 10 seed.
Actually, they've lost ground because they lost to the Warriors.
Technically, yeah, you're right. I mean, they were tied with the Warriors for 9 before, so it's kind of, but yeah, they will have gained no ground in the West. And I kind of look at it like, based on them having the second hardest strength of schedule the rest of the season, the fact that you have to play Cleveland twice, Oklahoma City, Boston, Denver, Memphis, I kind of think they need both the Rockets and the Mavericks games only because you will never find a better time to catch those teams than this week. And Houston kind of broke the bad juju a bit by beating the Bucks.
Yeah.
But Houston was real bad vibes going into the All-Star break. They lost 6 in a row. I think they won their first game out of the break, then lost a game out of the break. So Houston was real bad vibes. I think they've won like 2 of their last 9. So I would argue there's no better time to catch Houston, and Dallas is Dallas. I mean, either you're going to beat Dallas or you're going to be in the 9-10 game because Dallas is the only team realistically you can pass right now to get to the 9 seed. So if you're not going to beat Dallas shorthanded, then all of this is a moot point. So I guess I just kind of look at it as the Houston game is the make or break on the road trip because Denver, I mean, miracles happen, but this is the worst possible time to catch Denver. And last time they played, I know it was on super short rest back-to-back, but Denver just obliterated them, and Jokic hit a 70-foot baseball pass from the other baseline.
And that was actually when the Kings were starting to make some type of a run. Is that the forgotten game where you had sleepwalking De'Aaron? He played in that game, right?
I don't remember the timeline exactly, but that was the game that we were at Tom's Watch Bar together, and it was just over at halftime.
I'm looking here. That was January 23rd, and somehow the Kings managed to make it respectable. They lost by 9. And De'Aaron Fox did play in that game. He played 40 minutes in that game.
Yeah,
17 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists.
Because the reason that was why Jokic broke the all-time record for, you could make an argument, the greatest stat line ever in NBA history was because Doug came in and hit those like 6 3-pointers in the fourth quarter.
That's right. That's right. And that's what really made it respectable when in reality, when in reality, the Nuggets were in control that whole time. And that was when De'Aaron, I'm not trying to roast, that was when I think there was conversation heating up again about his finger. And then he went on to take some crazy shots, and he hit, I think, the side of the backboard towards the end. He took a shot in the corner when the Kings were trying to make that run where it was still kind of close. It was either going to put them either tie the game or put the game into the one possession, something like that. And De'Aaron took like the last 2 or 3 threes and did not hit any of them, and they lost that game.
I'm trying to remember the timeline. So this was a Tuesday, I think. Mm-hmm. So this was the day, or maybe it was a Monday. I'm trying to remember, but this was right before the story broke that the Kings were shopping De'Aaron Fox. Yeah. It wasn't the day of, but it was like the day right before or the day after. Let me see. The De'Aaron Fox story broke on the 28th. So this was about a couple days before.
Yeah.
The De'Aaron Fox
this
story
wasn't
broke.
Full-blown sleepwalking. And then after that is when they had the Sixers and another game after that.
Yeah, this was 3 days before the infamous call to Rich Paul at midnight being like, hey, this story's going to go public.
Right. So, I hear you, Kyle. I mean, 3-1 is what they should do. I have no reason to believe. Go out and beat the Rockets, and then, I'll feel like, all right, well, you're rolling a little bit now. Take care of the Mavericks again, and then there's your 3-1, and you see what happens against the Nuggets. But you have to beat either or the Houston Rockets or the Mavs. I understand why you're saying the Kings need to get 3-1. I have no reason to believe that they'll do it as of right now. But it all starts tonight against the Utah Jazz. Well, if you're listening from out of the area,